Hello, how's it going? So, today we have a whole lot of stuff that we're going to talk about. The subject is about art supplies that you should or could buy. I'm going to give you some good suggestions that can help you in the long run so you don't spend unnecessary money on things that you might not need or even like. So, let's get to it because we got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. Alright, so first I'm going to talk about some of the basic items that every artist needs. The first one is a pencil. Now it can be any type of pencil, doesn't matter. Anything that's cheap. Anything that you can find in a cheap place, buy it. That's not important. The pencils are usually, you can buy a dime a dozen. Next is, if you like, there are mechanical pencils. Now here I have a couple of different of types that you can see. The ones that I suggest, if you want to buy a good one, if you're somewhere in Europe especially, you can easily find rotating. I have two, the 0.35 and this is a 0.5. I had this for like almost 10 years, so it's the writing is completely faded. But it doesn't matter, any type that you could get, any type of pencil, it depends on which one is more comfortable in your hand. Choose that. Whichever is more comfortable, choose it, use it. And then we have fine liners. Now there are many types of fine liners that you can find. The one that I use and most people enjoy and like is Unipen. Unipen, there's different sizes, and in my last videos I told you, the sizes that I suggest is a 0.1, a 0.3 or 0.5, depends on how big you want. These are the two sizes that I usually use. In most cases they're enough. And then we have these, what we call these, a fountain pen, sorry, yeah. We have there are different types of fountain pens, and some are very cheap, some are very pricey. Now, it depends on how you want to use it and how much you want to use it. If you love fountain pens and they give you pleasure when you draw with them, that's okay. Buy a expensive one, but I suggest that start with something cheap. This is a cheap one that I bought, and it's actually pretty good. Depends on if you can find it. It's a Euro pen. There are different types of Euro pens. This one I bought for less than 10 bucks, I believe. It was pretty cheap, but it's actually very comfortable and it holds ink pretty good. So it's not a bad option to start with. But if you love fountain pens, buy a much better one so you can use it for years and years. And then after that we have erasers. Now you can buy a normal eraser, that's good, it's fine, usually it'll work. You can buy a pen eraser that you can use. You can put the erasing cartridge inside. Now if you want to use these, I suggest buying one that is a little bit smaller than this. This one is a little bit thick, especially if you want to get into drawing faces and black and white designs. You definitely need something that is more detailed than this one. So if you want to go into details, buy something that is much smaller than this. This is, I'm not sure exactly, it's made in Korea. I think it's a Turp, I don't know, I'm not exactly sure. I've been using this for years. But a type of eraser that I suggest that you should buy is what we call a kneaded eraser. Now I have this in a plastic because the cover doesn't close, but if the cover closed, that would be fine. I didn't need the plastic. I didn't want it to dry, so. Now, what is a kneaded eraser? A kneaded eraser is a perfect eraser that, as you can see, can easily stretch, and even when you erase with it, after it gets dark spots, you can easily move it around like this, and it'll completely be clean again, and you can draw with it, and it doesn't put any scraps and extra on your paper. And The thing is that you can easily wash these. One of the good, benefits of these is they're washable. You can wash them and you can reuse them. The brand that I suggest is Faber-Castell. It's a perfect brand. It's actually, compared to other stuff that they sell, their kneaded erasers are actually priced pretty well. Okay. One thing that I forgot to say about fountain pens is not the fountain pen itself. Usually you can find something decent with a pretty cheap price, but the most important thing isn't the pen itself, it's the ink that you use. So be careful what kind of ink you buy. Usually for inks, it's better that you buy something good, especially if you want to work with watercolor or anything water-based. You have to have a waterproof ink. So be careful when you're buying. Check what kind of ink you're going to use. Now, from this part on, it depends on what you want to do as an artist. So depending on what type of art you want to make, you can use the material that you like. Now, what I suggest is start with black and white. First, learn the basics of drawing black and white, then go to color. Now, to draw black and white, the first thing that you need is a group of different types of pencil. Now, here I have some general basic Chinese brand, and it doesn't matter what type of pencil you buy. You can buy the cheapest type that you want, especially when you're starting out. So don't worry, you don't need to get something expensive. Buy something cheap that has at least 12 different types of pencils. It usually has from 8B to HB, and then H 2H or 4H. So usually you can buy a 24 pack if you want, but usually a 12 is enough. You don't need any more. There are other types of tools that you can use with black and white. There's different types of cold blocks that you can use, small and big ones, and there's special types of very dark pencils, Conte that we call. And another thing that you need is a blending stomp. Now here I have a pack of 5 from a general brand. I think it's a Chinese brand, nothing special. And this one is from Derwent. Now it doesn't matter. Again, these stumps are actually pretty cheap, and you can buy any cheap types that you want. Doesn't matter what type you do. They all do the same thing. There's nothing special about it. The only difference is the size of how much detail you want to go into. If you want to go into very small details, like you want to work on eyes and stuff like that, yeah, you need something small like these two. If not, you want to blend a complete environment, something big like these, 4 is good enough. And you can even build your own blending tools with basic paper, like any type of newspaper. You can easily make some. You don't need to buy any brand and anything special. So hopefully I'll get to show you in the future how to do that. After you understood the basic of drawing and you have a basic understanding of drawing in black and white, next is finding the medium, the color medium that you want. There are multiple options that you can choose from, and first you're going to ask which one, what am I going to use? So here I'm going to talk about a few of them, but the ones that I'm not going to talk about is oil painting and acrylic, because these two are two very specific and professional types of material that people need years to practice and work on to be able to master it. But the ones that I'm going to use and tell you about, and that I suggest that you learn and start with, is color pencils, watercolor pencils, and gouache, or if you like, we're going to talk a little bit about pastels too. And there are other types of mediums that you can use. It depends on what you like. So go on the internet, see a few pictures of different types and styles of different drawings and paintings, and see what you like, and then choose for yourself which one of these mediums you want to choose and continue with. Now, I'm going to talk about color pencils. So if you go online, you'll see like there's 50 types of different color pencils that you can find on the internet, and you're going to be confused on which one should I buy. Now, there are some main brands, and then there are some basic brands that you can find that if you're starting out and you're on a budget, so it's better that you start with something simple. Now, there are many types of budget-friendly color pencils that you can use, like RTs, I think, Artex. These are two brands that I suggest that you can start with. They're very good, that you can use perfectly. But if you're not on a budget and you want to get something good, the best color pencils that you can buy are Caran d'Ache. I don't have it because it's actually very expensive and I can't even find it in my location. But two other brands that you can find in most other locations in the world. If you're in Europe, you can easily find Faber-Castell for a very good and perfect price. And if you're in the United States, you can find Prismacolors for a very cheap price. Faber-Castell has a better quality, but it's oil based. The type there's two types, oil and wax bases. Prismacolor and Caran d'Ache are wax based. Faber-Castell are oil based. So it depends on what skill level you are. For starters, wax base are much easier to use. So if you're starting out, I suggest that you get Prismacolor. Those are much more easier to use. Now, there's many types. Prismacolor you can find from I think a 12 pack to a 150 or even more nowadays. I'm not sure. But if you want to start out, I suggest that you get a simple 48 pack like this that I have. 48 pack is usually good enough, especially when you're starting out. You don't need anything more. Now, the problem with Prismacolor is the quality of the pencils aren't exactly perfect. As you can see here, the head of this pencil isn't actually really good, and if I try to sharpen it again or try to get a nice tip out of it, it's not going to work out well. So that's a big problem with Prismacolor, but they're actually very easy to use. So you have to be a little bit careful, and don't worry if it breaks. It's a very common problem with this type of color pencil. So, and always make a swatch sheet for yourself, something like this. Now, I printed this out myself and I colored it in a gradient format, so it's better to do it in a gradient format so you can understand what type of colors you're going to get. Now, this is on a normal basic paper, on a printing paper. If you use something else, it's going to be higher quality. But if you want something more professional, so the Faber-Castell is actually a better option, a better choice. Now, the Faber-Castell is, as you can see, much better quality. It's a little bit heftier and it looks pretty good. I really like the look on Faber-Castell, and it's very nicely designed. But if you were on a very strict budget and you want something good, another option that you can use is the Faber-Castell's Classic Edition, the classic colors. Now, because the box that they come in is usually something very basic and you have to throw it out, I got a case for mine. And again, the quality in this, the classic form, it's not bad, it's not great, but it's not actually, it's pretty decent. But as you can see on this sheet, on the swatch sheet, the colors are actually pretty good, but they don't mix that much. The mixing abilities and the ray of light and shadow is actually not that high on this type of the pencil. But on the polychromos, which is this one, the Faber-Castell polychromos, as you can see, they're much more vibrant, and this is on just a plain paper. If I use a better paper, the colors would pop out pretty nice. So if you're not on a budget, and you don't need a big one, the Faber-Castell set comes until I think a 120 set. You don't need one. You can get a 36 or a 60 if you have enough money. You want to buy a 60 pack, that's okay, but a 36 would usually be enough, because the beauty of color pencil is that you don't need a lot of type of pencil. The beauty comes out when you mix the colors on your paper. That's when your design starts to pop out and show itself. And then there are skin color color pencils. Now here I have a normal generic type of skin color, which you use these if you prefer to draw them in a, oh, where'd you go? To draw something like skin tones. These are actually pretty good sets like this. Now this is just a very basic generic set. I don't suggest that you buy this, but I'm just showing this to you so you can know and see what different types of color pencils that you can find on the market. Now that was the dark skin tone. This one is the light skin tone, and as you can see on the swatch sheet, that different types of skin tones that you can get, which are actually perfect if you like to draw people or even animals. Now be careful about non-name brand color pencils. Now here I'm going to show you a non-name brand. It's a crappy pencil that you might find stuff like this. This is some in Iranian non-toxic coating audio. It's the name of the brand. Now the box, the first thing that you can easily understand that this is not good is the box. The quality of the box is horrible. And then if you open it up, the pencils look actually pretty decent, but if you look closely, it doesn't have any name or number. It's just the name of the brand. Let me focus it. It's just the name of the brand, non-toxic, creative color, audio, that's it. It's just the name of the brand, no number, no name, no nothing. That shows that these are just some generic, but actually they're pretty good if you just want to use it for your children. Young kids, if you want something that to give them and make them have fun with it, these aren't that bad. So I can't bash on them too much, but the thing that is, these are not light fast. So if you want to draw something that lasts for years, look at this. But look at this and look at this. If you want something that lasts for years and years, get one of these, especially the Faber-Castell or Polychromos, especially if you have the budget. Why not the Caran d'Ache? That's one of the best ones you can find on the market. So now let's talk about watercolor. So there are many different watercolor companies that you can find, and most of them are okay. None of them are horrible. But for someone that's starting out, there are a few brands that you can use, and depending on your budget, which some of them are better. Now the watercolor that I suggest to you if you're starting out is a Winsor & Newton Cotman series. The Cotman series, there's the 12 color and there's the 25 and even more, but usually the 25 is enough. You don't need the 24. The 25 is more than enough. And watercolor usually comes in either a plastic cover or a tin. Usually nowadays you won't find a tin. This one isn't from a watercolor company. I bought it separately. I had a St. Petersburg pack watercolor that you can see here. I bought a tin, so I preferred these. These are actually much better than the plastic ones, but most companies these days create and use these because they're much cheaper to make, much easier to make, so they prefer these to that one. So this is actually brand new. I got it as a gift, and then for my wife. And there's two types of these cups that you can see. If I can bring it out, unfortunately I can't. So there's a half and a full type size. This is a full size and this is a half size that you can see. And usually a half is good enough. It'll take quite a while for you to finish the half cup, and the full cup, it'll take years and years for you to use to finish all of them. So depending on what you're using. Sometimes it's a full, sometimes it's a half. Now, if you want to get a watercolor set, so I suggest that you either get something like this, the Cotman series, or there's another type, the St. Petersburg White Knight. That's a brand that I've seen lots of people really enjoy. So these are the two budget-friendly brands that I suggest that you get if you want to use. But there's many more professional types. And these are what we call student grade watercolors. Usually there are professional grades. The professional grades come in tubes, small tubes that you can use, but those are for professionals. When you get to that level, yeah, you can use those. Like the Winsor & Newton professional set is actually very good. You can buy that if you want, but for a beginner, this is what I would suggest.